Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of College Hockey Talk. On today's episode, I'm joined by a very special guest. I'm joined by Sophomore from the UConn women's hockey team, Kathryn Stockdale. Last time we had Kathryn on the podcast, we talked about her journey to college hockey, and I'm excited to talk to her today about her college hockey experience so far with UConn and how everything's been going. So welcome back to the podcast, Kathryn, and how's everything going?
Thanks for having me, and it's going pretty well since we talked last time. I think that last time we talked, I was going through COVID and experiencing it, and I was locked in my room and stuff like that. But I think now, actually having a full year of college and not COVID related, it's so much better than last year. Just experiencing the year both on and off the ice, what it's like to actually go to classes and having the proper amount of games and stuff. So yeah, it's been a good year so far.
Yeah, that's good to hear. And talk a little bit more about just like how everything's been going for yourself. Like you said, both on and off the ice. What's it like being in class in person, since it's been a while since that's happened? And talk about just having a regular season normally versus last year, where it was just so crazy with the stoppages that happened just because of the pandemic.
Yeah, last year it was you weren't sure if you were playing one weekend or one weekend you weren't because the team had COVID or not. But then this year it was kind of harder to balance school and hockey at the same time because I wasn't used to so many games and every single weekend, where last year I had so many off weekends because people had COVID, where it was definitely harder to adapt. But I like it now, and last year we weren't allowed to really hang out with any other teams or meet any other people, but this year we can, because we're kind of code free now, I guess. Not really, but
Yeah.
more open to meet other people. So yeah, it's been nice.
What are some cool things you gotten to do this year that you wouldn't have had the chance to do your freshman year?
Yeah, I would say go to other team sporting events, having fans at our games, going to classes. All my classes were online. Going to the basketball games, those are fun. Never
Mhm.
went to one, so it was cool.
Yeah, is that like your favorite sports team to watch at UConn besides women's hockey? Obviously, is the basketball, or is it like something else that I might not know about?
Oh, for sure. We're also big lacrosse and softball fans, so we kind of go to all of them. But women's basketball is awesome.
And congratulations, the team made the Final Four. So how stoked are you for that? I don't know if you had the chance to watch any of that game last night. It was pretty unbelievable.
Oh, I did. It was really stressful. Had me on my toes.
Yeah,
It was great. Good. Yeah.
but Paige Beckers, I'll tell you, she's one of the best basketball players I've ever seen play. So shout out to her. She's always killing it. And I don't know if you ever had the chance to see her like off campus before, just because like you probably I feel like UConn's such a small campus sometimes where you've probably seen her walking around before.
Yeah. So, two girls on my team are really close with AZ on basketball. So I always see, whenever I go over to their place, I always see Paige and AZ just chilling there, and I'm like, hey.
That's awesome. So that's pretty cool actually. So, but
Mhm.
obviously your team had a really successful year this year. So what are your off-season plans? I guess what do you hope to work on? What does the team hope to work on? And do you have anything fun planned, I guess, for the off-season as well?
Yeah, so I think since we lost so many girls for this season, I don't know, over 10 people, our gym, on our off-season training, definitely looks empty at the moment. But I think we're just focusing on growing stronger as a group and learning each other's weaknesses, since so many people are graduating and moving on. So I think our goal right now in the off-season is to just keep working out together. We work out 4 times a week and just kind of learn more about each other so we can be stronger next year.
Mhm.
Personally, I would like to work on more my on ice skills. In the gym, I'm doing pretty well, so I want to work on more of my hands and stuff like that.
That's awesome, man. Have you had the chance to meet some of the new players that are coming in next year? Since there's going to be so many of them, and how excited are you to meet some of them that you haven't met before? I guess.
Yeah, so I actually haven't really met them. I think I've played against a couple in PW, but I haven't had the time to really get to know them. But in Easter weekend, so I think that's 2 weekends away, we have all the official, their official visit coming. So I'm really excited to meet them.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. And I had the
Mhm.
chance to talk to one of them, Emma Urdu, and she said you were a big role model for herself and one of the big reasons why she came to UConn. So I was just curious how excited you to play with her
Oh
for this
yeah.
upcoming season.
Oh yeah, I love Emma. I'm super excited to see her and have her here.
Now,
Mhm.
obviously, talk a little bit more about how you're trying to build that on ice. Like, how do you try to work on your hands in the off season? I'm curious, just because it's something that not a lot of like I guess casual fans of the game really think about. But like as
Mhm.
for yourself, how do you try to work on that part of your game, and how do you try to make it stronger, and how do you see it translate when you're playing games on the ice or just in practice?
So I think it leads more to like I kind of have more of the systems down pat and like my speed's pretty well. So the on ice like skill stuff is more like in tight goals and more like skill sessions. So I think that's what I'm gonna focus on. Not so much like big ice drills, like more like in close and stick handling like that, as well as not so like kind of like one-on-ones, so I have moves that I can pull out, so that kind of like stick handling skills like that. And I definitely think this off season that's going to be my main focus.
Nice. I'm excited to see some of the moves you pull out for next season. It should be fun. So looking forward to it. Now, I want to transition and talk about this past season for a little bit because obviously it was a good season for your team. What was your mindset, I guess, like heading into this year? Because obviously things did not end the way your team wanted to the previous year, losing to Northeastern in the hockey semifinals. And just talk about like what your team's mindset heading into this year was, and when did you guys kind of realize that your team was going to be as special as it was this year? Was it like in the first game against LU, or did it take a couple of weekends to kind of realize that your team was going to be very successful this year?
So I think when we realized it was before the season started, because we knew a bunch of the fifth years, seniors were coming back for their fifth year. So that's kind of when we were like, oh, wow, we could really do something special the next year. And then, because we had so much unfinished business because our previous season, we did pretty well. So the seniors were very mad that all we wanted to do was better. So I think when we really realized is when we went on our like 10-game win streak. I think we were like, no time to stop now. Like we can only go forward from here. So I think that's when we realized like, wow, we can, if we just keep going, like we could keep winning. So I think that's when we really realized. And I think it was a huge step in our program's direction to have them come back. And that's when we realized that we could do something.
Yeah, and was it cool having fans back in the arena? I know you kind of alluded to it earlier, but
Mhm.
how did they make a difference this year compared to your freshman year when there was no crowd in the stands? And just talk about the UConn hockey fans because I feel like we're a small group, but we're a loud group. At
Yes,
least that's how I compare us. So
pack the Fritas.
mhm.
No, yeah, I loved it so much because I never had people in the fans at any rink. So it was nice to have the families there and all their cheers, like UConn. You probably know them. They're
Oh yeah.
awesome. Yeah, so I just it was really fun and also going to the men's games and seeing all their fans and like everyone's fans here at UConn. It made the atmosphere that much better. And it just lining up on O Canada, seeing everyone watching you. It's not as echoey as last year. Like last year there's like no one there.
Mhm.
But this year it was really fun.
What's your favorite chant? Is it the UConn Huskies or is it another one? I personally like that first one just because it's like you hear it all the time.
I like that one too. And then like at the end of it goes like whoo and I
Yeah.
like that.
So I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure out. There was a one at a game when the band was there where it was like IEHU Huskies. I don't know what the band was saying, but it was really catchy. So I'm trying to figure out like how that one goes because I thought that was a really good chant too.
I've definitely heard that one before, but I don't know it yet either.
I know they like spell it Huskies in some way, and then like but the band's like going and kind of a certain. It's really cool. I don't know. Like I have to get a video of it next time I'm at a game, but that was like one of my favorite chants from this past year too. I've never heard that one up to that point though.
I hope at our new rink, the band comes because
Oh yeah.
even though we didn't have a band at the Fridas to sing those, it was the parents sang them, which was nice.
Yeah, we'll talk about the new rink in a sec, but I kind of want another question I kind of want to ask you is you also got to play some non-conference games this year as well. How cool was that for yourself since you didn't have that experience last year? And what's the benefit you see from playing those non-conference opponents? Like, how does it better your team and yourself when you play against them?
So it was definitely a great experience because we got to see like where the other competition is, and definitely playing Quinnipiac was huge because we can play, realize what they're like, and it was at the beginning of the year, so then we could see different divisions and stuff like that and where people are at. And if we were, our mindset was always hopefully to make the tournament, so seeing other teams, it could benefit our team. And yeah.
And how did you handle your first big road trip to RIT? That must have been an interesting experience.
Yeah, I've never really been on a bus that long. I was a little bit car sick, but made it there and back.
And you got the sweep as well, so that's all that counts at the end of the day.
Mhm. Yeah, so and it was like, oh, I'm car sick, but we won, so it was nice.
Yeah. Well, luckily, it's like I feel like when you win those games, the bus rides, no matter how long they are much better versus when you like lose a game, just because those bus rides feel much longer when you lose those games. So that's like another positive. So even though you felt car sick, it probably felt like a little less of a long of a bus ride than it would have if you lost one of those games.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Now, your team was ranked this year as well for the first time since 2009. So, how did it feel to be ranked this year, and how did your team kind of handle the pressure of being ranked and being one of the top teams in Hockey East?
Um, I definitely think it was something to remember, such a monumental moment, because no one on our team's been ranked before. So it was kind of like we were going through it together, and no one had the experience. But when we got there, it was kind of like our mindset was like, oh, finally. Like we were like, when were we going to be?
Yeah.
So like we finally got it, and then we were like, okay, like now we just need to stay here. So we didn't like let the pressure get to us, I find. We were kind of just staying like humble right in the middle. Like if we dropped below, we were angry and we wanted to get back, but we also just wanted to like keep going forward because our mindset was like, finally we're here, and we knew we deserved it. So we just had to keep maintaining it.
Yeah, I was surprised it took the committee so long to rank you guys, especially after you went on that big winning streak in November. I was like, when are the girls going to get ranked? They deserve it. But I kind of want to ask you because I heard this story of when your team found out you guys were ranked. It was when Savannah Boozide was visiting your team during practice, and she stopped practice and shouted it out. I was curious your perspective of that story because I thought that was awesome when I heard it for the first time.
Yeah, it was awesome. I love her. So we were like practicing, and she was just in the stands, like watching our practice. And occasionally, Coach Mack would just yell at her and be like, "How you doing up there?" And she'd be like, "Pretty good." And then it was kind of quiet. Like Coach Mack was kind of talking. She just ran down. She's like, "Guys, you're ranked." And we were like, "No way!" And like it was so exciting. And we were all middle of practice just cheering, and we were like, "Yes, finally." So yeah, it was awesome. I loved how she told us too. It's not like we just found it on our phones. We were mid practice. Yeah, definitely something to remember.
Definitely a memorable practice for sure. How do practices work, by the way? I'm curious because I know you only have like a few hours a week with the coaching staff.
So our practices are pretty much the same Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in the season. And then like Monday's more like competitions, fast paced skating. Tuesday, sometimes we do like shooting practices, like full on shooting if we haven't been scoring lately. And Casey runs those, just all shooting. Or we kind of do more drills, but keeping the intensity high. And then Wednesday, we kind of dial it back a bit and do more flow and some systems. And then Thursdays, it's like this, we do Lemaire, this drill called Lemaire. We do the exact same stuff, and it's kind of more chill. And then we just do systems. It's a shorter practice on Thursdays just to get our minds ready.
Yeah, and how do you like prepare for opponent as well? Do you like watch tape on them and like try to find out some of their weaknesses, or do you mostly focus on yourself and what you guys can do better to beat that opponent the upcoming weekend?
Yeah, so Wednesdays we do video on our previous weekend and like stuff we can improve on, and from the previous team. And then Thursdays we scout the opponents coming up on the weekend, and we go over their system and watch their film.
Hmm.
Yeah, so yeah, that's what we do. It's pretty scheduled in our times. We have like exact times, so yeah.
That sounds fun though. I would love to like be a fly on the wall in some of those meetings and just hear like how the coaching staff like figures out what systems another team does. I find that stuff pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's actually kind of fun because Coach Mac like is like serious but never really
Hmm.
serious because he cracks so many jokes and stuff. So and like chirps us like on Wednesdays when we go over our old game, like there's always like chirps and always adds in people falling or just funny things people did. And like if you just randomly fall on the blue line, like you're in video the next like on Wednesday. So it's fun.
That's awesome. I guess that's a good thing to kind of lighten up the mood a little bit, especially if there was like a tough weekend, the previous one. So I like that method actually.
Yeah, and if you want to like do, most people do video just one-on-one with Casey, and to go over like your own shifts, you go over every single one of your own shifts and stuff, and then you do your team on Wednesday, Thursday.
That's cool. That's cool. I didn't know. How do they find out like your shifts? Like, do they have like a video system that like goes through each one? That's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so we have two different platforms. We have Instat and Hockey 360, and they do Instat does all your shifts and breaks down like your exact shots, your stick handling shifts where you went through people, and it like breaks down like exact things in your shift. So Casey goes over all of those.
That's awesome. Well, that's definitely that's really cool actually, to be honest with you. I find that stuff, like I said, very interesting. So
Yeah.
do you think those videos, how have those video sessions, I guess, improved your game this year? I know we'll talk a little bit more about that as well, but I was just curious, like, what have you noticed about your game when you watch those videos?
So I'm like really hard on myself. So when I watch them like at home before I go into video with Casey, I'm like, oh, this is terrible.
Hmm.
And then when I go into Casey, like he kind of like breaks it down more, like what did you do here? What were you looking at? What did you see? So like when I actually like think about what I did in those shifts, I'm not as hard on myself, so my confidence doesn't go down, which is nice. Casey more like gives you other options, and you can like ask him different stuff. So yeah, I love it.
Mhm. And obviously, confidence is a big part of the game because I've always said if you lose confidence, I feel like it affects your game a little bit because you're not like as energized to go up on the ice. But also, when you're more confident, I feel like you take a better shot. You're looking for that next play. You're also more motivated to stay on the ice when you might be a little bit tired. So that's like a big part of the game. So it's good that I guess those video sessions kind of help your confidence stay where it
Mhm.
is.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, I want to talk a bit about some of the moments during your regular season, and one memorable moment from your regular season was when your team played Quinnipiac in the Nutmeg Classic Final. Talk about that game, and even though it didn't go your team's way, what did you take away from that game heading into the second half of the season? Because I feel like your team learned a lot from that loss.
Yeah, so I think that game was pretty pivotal because we were able to play a nationally ranked team, and we were really excited. And not only that was the Nutmeg final, and we haven't won in a while, so we were pretty excited. Even though it didn't go our way, we never gave up. And since we knew we were playing such a good team, like we were so determined. So that really carried our momentum into the rest of the season, like that determination to never give up till the end. So
And obviously, another memorable moment was when your team swept Boston College in January. How important was that sweep for your team, and how cool was it to see that overtime winning goal by Natalie in the second game? Because I thought it was just a great play overall by Alex to kind of give her that pass, and she took advantage of that breakaway and really buried that goal and made your team get those two much needed points in that series.
yeah, it was such a sweet goal. It was awesome. But I think that the sweep felt so much better because of the previous season. We lost to them so many times and we only beat them in like the quarterfinals. So I think we just have so much anger. And when we
Hmm.
played that game, there was so much unfinished business that we just needed to just finish it off. And for the seniors like leaving, like Nat, like I know that was on everyone's mind, just like we need to bring
Hmm.
them down because we lost so many games the previous season. So beating them made the wins that much better.
Yeah, and then like another moment I want to talk about as well is your goal against Merrimack. Now, it's not a highlight reel goal. It's not a goal that many people kind of remember, but I remember just because I thought it was a great play by you to kind of hustle, get that rebound, and get that dirty goal. Talk about getting that goal, which I believe was your first goal this season, and what it meant to you. And just talk about that play because I really was impressed just by the effort that you put in to get that goal. And it was really good to see just how excited we were to get that goal because I feel like you really earned it from your play in the previous games before that one.
Thanks. It's something about Merrimack. I always score the first goal of the season against them. But I think, yeah, I was really excited because I was screening the goalie and I was just wanted someone to put it on the net. And then finally it was there. And when I put it in, it was nice because I was working so hard, like getting hit from behind, trying to keep my spot. So when I did, I was like, "Ooh, finally!" And I I was hoping maybe to improve this year and get some more points and stuff like that. So to get that, it was I was kind of stressed because I haven't been putting up points. So when I did, it was kind of like a relief. Kind of was nice.
Yeah. You also had a really good game against Holy Cross this year. Talk about that game and the confidence it gave you heading into the second half of the year, because that was one of the last games before the first half of the season ended. So I was just really impressed by yourself in that game as well. And it was cool to see yourself get highlighted on the broadcast the next game as well as one of the players to watch. I was very happy about that because you earned it.
Thanks. Yeah, I had so much fun in that game. I know my line mate Therm and I were just we the whole game were like, oh, we're buzzing. So like
Mhm.
something about it, we were just really on top of our game and we were having fun. And I think that in that game, I had more confidence to take shots and I was carrying the puck more. So I think that really benefited my game just to like keep the puck on my stick and try to do something.
And you improved a lot this year as well. What do you feel like was the biggest improvement you made to your game this year? And I guess what did you do during the season and during the off season to make that improvement to your game? And just talk, I felt like it was obviously, you improved point stats wise, but also just other parts of your game as well. It really felt like for myself, you matured a lot in your game and became more of a kind of a confident player with and without the puck.
Yeah, so I think, like we talked about, like confidence is so big, and I think my freshman year I was really nervous every game, and I didn't really know the system, so that was kind of weighing on me. Like I knew them, but it was weighing that they weren't like muscle memory yet.
Hmm.
So once I really learned them this year and they became muscle memory, I could focus more on the aspects of my game, like carrying the puck and playing more freely because I didn't have to focus on where to be at what time because it kind of came to me naturally. So I think that's what helped me this season. Kind of like I knew where to go and now focus on some other aspects.
Yeah. And also what's like your goal for next year, like for yourself individually? Like what do you want to achieve your junior year that you didn't get to do your sophomore year?
Well, make it to the tournament. Let's start with that. And win Hockey East. But like personally, I think I would like to prove myself a bit more about maybe scoring some more and doing more stuff like that that can help my team and benefit everyone. So I think doing that to ultimately get to the tournament, win Hockey East.
Hmm. And one thing I do want to talk to you about, because one thing I really admire about your game, and I've told you this before, is your play without the puck. Because I feel like people don't really notice that about hockey players. I feel like you back check really well. Your forecheck is one of the best on the team. So talk about just how you work on that stuff, because I was really impressed by the zone entries that you had this year, the zone breakouts. How do you work on that stuff in practice? Because like I said, I've been really impressed about that part of your game is just your play without the puck and just the forecheck that you have, just because I really feel like it's a part of the game that most people don't talk about, but if you don't do it, it could be a really significant into whether a team wins or loses.
Mhm. Thank you. I think it's a couple of things. I think talking and asking questions about the system so it became muscle memory so that I could just go and like know where to go faster. Off ice, I worked on my quick strides a lot so that I could forward check and back check properly and faster. And also just like that determination to not lose. Like I know everyone hates losing, most people, but it's something that's always been with me where if I lose, like it's just so painful. It's like a dagger. So forecheck and back checking is something that I'm like, I need to win this race.
Hmm.
And I think another thing is having a line mate like Therm. We talked a lot and knew like where each other were. So I think that also helped for forechecking because we were communicating a lot. So it made it less stressful knowing that we both like knew where to go.
Now in the playoffs this year, you beat Boston University in the first round. What did it mean for you to get that win against BU? And just talk about that game as well, because they scored like on the first shift, and then it really felt like your team kind of like took that to heart and really kind of controlled the game throughout most of the game as after that goal was scored. And Jada had a great goal. I think Summer got the game winner in the second one, and then obviously Morgan Wabek with the great empty netter, which was actually really impressive. Even though it's an empty netter, I was just impressed like how she found the way to get the puck and bury that. So talk about that playoff game and what it meant to your team heading in against Vermont.
Yeah, some of the goals, most scores, you just never know. They're just really nice. But no, yeah, the BU game was really special because we knew it was one of our last games at the Friedis, and just to play a playoff game at home, I feel like that hasn't happened in a while. So the ability to do that was really nice, and just beating them kind of carried us. Like as soon as we beat them and we came back, even though they were up, we were like, wow, we can do this in further games. So that kind of really set the standard for our other games against Vermont and Northeastern because we know we could battle back. So just never giving up like really influenced us in the next game. So I think it really helped us to get
Yeah.
to the final.
And talk about that game against Vermont, beating them on the road in the semifinals. I felt like your team, I feel like Vermont has given your team some trouble in the regular season. So it must have been a relief to finally figure out a way to beat that team in the playoffs, especially in a very hostile environment because Natalie was telling me how it was like pack the gut night for that
Mm-hmm.
playoff game. So there was like a lot of fans there.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was like probably one of my best memories from uh, this year because it was so busy. And I just think that the last game we played them, we lost, even though we beat them. But like we beat them, then they beat us. So it was kind of like we needed to finish this off. And it was a really good game because we knew it was far from easy. So to play them, I really like that we play them because they have so much speed and stuff, and we had to acknowledge it to kind of play them. And I just think that beating them in their rink just made it that much better too. And yeah,
Yeah,
so
not just in the regular season this year, but they swept you in the playoffs or in the regular season series the previous year, your freshman year. I feel like that was a big series just because I feel like your team might have gotten home ice advantage if you won one of those games. So just a team, like I said, that's giving your team some trouble, but it was great to see your team kind of figure out a way to beat them in the playoffs and move on to the championship game. And to see the excitement on your senior's face was awesome to see as well. So I was very impressed by that performance from your team.
yeah, it was definitely one to remember.
And obviously, your goalie, Megan Warner, was outstanding in that throughout the playoffs. Talk about the play that she had during that run, just because, like, obviously Samantha got that injury. So just for her to kind of get in that situation kind of unexpectedly, it seemed like she handled it very well.
Yeah, for her to step in and play the way she did, she was incredible. We couldn't have asked for anything better. She stopped some breakaways against Vermont, many. Could have been a game changer if she wouldn't have. So I think she really made the shift in our playoffs and at the end of our year. And she was a huge help to our team. We couldn't have done it without her.
Now, in the championship game against Northeastern, talk about that. What was different about this playoff game versus Northeastern versus the one your freshman year? And just
Mhm.
talk about the emotions you felt after the game ended, knowing that that was probably the final game of the season just because of the way the pairwise worked if you didn't win that game.
So it was kind of much different because this game we knew that we needed to win. Like we had a feeling that we needed to win to go to the tournament. So we were so determined this game because it was more we had so much emotions for the seniors and everyone because we knew that our team was so special that this year that this could be our chance. Like this is what we've worked for all year to finally beat them because we tied them previously. So we knew that it was possible, but we did fall short, unfortunately. But the emotions in that game were definitely higher than any game I've ever played because we knew what was on the line.
And just talk a little bit more about this past season, just your thoughts on everything. Even though the season didn't end the way you wanted to, it felt like you still accomplished so much as a team and as a program. So I guess what are you going to take away from this season heading into your junior year and just how proud are you of your team for the accomplishments that you had this year?
Yeah, I definitely think that there's some big shoes to fill next year. Broke so many team records, and our team as a whole, the most amount of wins, and it was just a record-breaking year. It's our best year yet, and I think next year we all know that this year we need to only go up from here for our program. And hopefully they set the standards, our team last year, that we can go up. And it was huge for our program. And I think that, I'm excited to the future, but this year was definitely very memorable.
And how are you going to try to show the freshmen and the new players just the standard that the seniors and the fifth years set for you guys after this season?
Yeah, I definitely think that looking up to some players on our team this year, like Vic and Nat and Danica and people like Danny Fox and all of them, like they set such a high tone that I think right off the bat for the freshmen coming in, we need to set that tone too and give it our all the time to know that we're not fooling around here and it's go time.
That's awesome. And obviously the new rink's coming in. Is it January 2023 or is it October 2022? I keep getting those mixed up, so I want you to confirm that for me.
So it changes every day. Every day, Coach Max like, oh yeah, it's this day. But last I heard, it was December.
Oh, okay.
This
So before
upcoming
Christmas.
before Christmas is like what they keep saying, but you never know.
Yeah. Well, so you're going to have to start the year off, though, at Frady's, though, regardless of what happens with the rink, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah, we will.
So how excited are you, though, for the new rink? It looks like it's going to be really nice. Did you get the chance to sign off, like, one of the beams at the topping off ceremony? And what have they told you about the new rink and how excited are you to play there?
Yeah, it looks gorgeous. I'm super excited and grateful to play there. Some of the fun things we have coming in, like massage chairs and like stuff like that. I'm just like, oh, I can't wait. I love the Fridas, don't get me wrong, but it is a barn vibe
Mm-hmm.
where this new place, the new rink is stunning. And I've seen photos of it and just makes me so excited for the future of our program.
Yeah, no, I love Freitas too. It definitely has a lot of character. But when you go to some of the other rinks in Hockey East, you definitely realize that just what it's like being in a newer rink and just some of the cool stuff that they have there. So I'm excited that your team gets to have that.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm like, oh, perfect.
Now, do you know what the rink's going to be called? Is it going to be called the Kathryn Stockdale Center? Are they going to name it after one of the former seniors? Like, I think that would be pretty cool if they named it after you personally.
Oh, for sure. It's going to be the Cat Stockdale, something like that. Oh,
Yeah.
I actually have no idea yet. It's probably some donor.
I wish I had enough money to name the stadium after myself. I
Yeah.
know that sounds like crazy for someone to say, but I think that'd be cool to have a stadium named after me, especially since I'm a big UConn hockey fan. I love
Mhm.
going to the games. So I feel like when people go, they're like going to the Matt Cusack arena. I think that
Yeah,
would be fun.
you should send in a tip to them.
Like I said, I wish I had the money, or at least if someone wants to donate the money, but they don't want their name on it, I will do that for them. So that's the way I feel like it's going to have to go.
Yeah. Sounds like a perfect plan.
I hope it works out, like I said, but we'll see how it goes. I feel like that's probably won't happen, but you know,
You never know.
you never know is exactly the right answer. So, but now we're in the non-hockey segment of the podcast. We're asking you some non-hockey questions, trying to get to know you a little bit more off the ice. Now, this non-hockey segment's a little bit different than the last one, just because I found some just random questions on the internet to ask you. So hopefully you find them as interesting as I do. So, first thing is a UConn-related question, but what is your favorite thing at the Dairy Bar?
Dairy bar. I'm like very classic. Probably just cookies and cookie dough ice cream.
Oh, that's
Just
my favorite too. Let's go.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I also do like the milkshakes. That's what they call them in Connecticut. I call them fraps where I'm from. So it's definitely something I had to get used to, but those are very good there as well.
We call them milkshakes in Canada too.
Yeah. So I don't know why. Maybe it's a Massachusetts thing that we only call them fraps. I don't know if any other states call it out there. So I thought that was pretty cool. So next up is what is your guilty pleasure song?
Okay, so I'd never play the song on aux. Like I feel like I'd get judged. But I think like play that funky music or like Funky Town, like an old song. Like occasionally I just throw that in the AirPods when I'm walking around and I just love it. But
Hmm.
something to groove to, but I'd never just like throw it on aux in front of people.
Yeah. I think for myself, it's probably Love Story by Taylor Swift. I think that song
Oh,
is very good, but you would never catch me like, I guess, dancing and singing to that song in public, only like in private, like in my car, but that's about it.
yeah. That's a good one.
Now, if there was a movie made about your life, who would you want to play yourself and why?
Hmm. Definitely Jennifer Aniston.
Hmm. That's a good
I
answer.
Yeah. I just I think she'd be perfect.
Yeah, I don't know who would play me in a movie. Probably like I guess like Tom Holland or like Andrew Garfield, like one of the Spider-Men, just because I feel like they're good actors. They don't look like me, but I just feel like would get my mannerisms down, which is all that counts.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Now, how can you tell if someone has a sense of humor?
Okay. I think if they have the ability to read the room. So like they know when to crack out the right jokes at the right time for the right crowd. You
Yeah.
can't just like crack out this one joke and everyone's just like crickets. Like you just have to know. You
Hmm.
have to have that instinct that when to crack it, when to not. Mm,
Exactly.
yeah.
I feel like for me, it's kind of similar to your answer, but to someone who can make an awkward situation funny, I think that makes someone hilarious. So I don't know, like I don't know, like I can't describe it like to you. It's kind of hard to describe, but like you know it when you see it, that kind type of thing. So that's kind of how I tell.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, what is the most interesting thing you've seen or read this week?
This week. Oh, definitely the basketball game
Hmm.
yesterday. Watching that was awesome. Sadly, I couldn't go. It's Bridgeport, Connecticut. I
Oh,
had
that's a
someone just
drive.
saying, "Oh,
Yeah.
you're not there," and I'm like, "It's not a gamble," but no, it was really interesting and it was awesome.
Yeah, that was an exciting game. I did feel bad for that girl that broke her wrist, though. That did not look good. So that was the only like sad part about the game. So I felt bad for her. But other than that, the game was great.
Yeah.
I feel like the most interesting thing that I read this week is pretty obvious. It's what happened with the Oscars. I thought that was definitely
Mhm.
very interesting. Just that whole situation. So
Like
I don't
that
know.
chat.
I just feel like if you weren't like a famous Hollywood actor, and if like any like normal person did that, they would have been like arrested on the spot. But since it's like Will Smith, like no one like cares. I found that part
Mhm.
of it pretty funny.
And I think that people with that thought he was kidding.
I thought it
Like,
was fake at first too, but then like as like
yeah,
the show went on, I'm like, I feel like it's real because I feel like the Oscars wouldn't stage something like that.
my instincts were, oh, this is funny. Like he's just kidding. And then like people are like, no, it's real. Like he's actually mad about something. I was like, oh, that's funny.
Yeah, so that's a situation. If someone can make that situation funny, that would be how I can tell someone has a good sense of humor. So kind of getting back to that last question as well.
Yeah.
Now, what is the most overrated holiday and what is the most underrated holiday in your opinion?
Okay. Overrated Halloween. I just really dislike Halloween. I don't know what it is about it. Just the whole like you need to dress up and stuff like
Exactly, I
that.
agree with you.
Yeah. And then overrated Christmas, but it's overrated for a good reason. You know, it's like it's Christmas, and yeah, it's probably the most overrated. But I think it's good that it's overrated.
Any underrated ones that feel like you don't get enough credit?
Oh, underrated. Kind. I think Valentine's Day.
You think
It's
that's
just so
underrated?
like yeah, kinda.
I'm not on the same page as you. I feel like it's a bit overrated in my opinion. Because why do you need a day to celebrate your special someone? You should do that every day, right?
Very, very true.
So
Yeah.
here's my thing on Valentine's Day. I think it is a bit overrated, but like I don't mind if you do something, just don't go like over the top with it. I feel like some people go way over the top with like their Valentine's Day celebration, and it's just like I feel like it's a
Mhm.
little like much for me. So I feel like if you like do something small, like just between yourself and someone else, that's like completely fine. But like if you have to be
Yeah.
like so open and public about it, I don't know. Maybe that's why it turns me off a little bit.
Yeah. No, I get that too. I'd say another underrated one would be St. Patty's Day. I think it's so fun and such a huge celebration that it's definitely underrated.
Yeah, I could see that. The one thing with St. Patty's Day, I don't want to sound like a negative Nancy here, but like
No.
there's people who are like waiting like 2 hours in line to get in like these restaurants. I don't know. I
Mm,
was in Boston like on St. Patrick's Day weekend for the Hockey East championship and semifinal game, and these
mhm.
people were like waiting like 2 hours to get in these restaurants. I'm like, does not seem fun to myself. So I guess if you're not doing that, then I totally agree with you. But I feel like if you're doing that, then it might be a little bit
Yeah.
overrated.
No, for sure. Yeah.
And then my personal underrated holiday is the 4th of July. I don't know if it's the same thing in Canada for Canada Day on July 1st, but I just love it. It's like fireworks, good barbecue, summer vibes. It's just a overall great holiday, and there's no pressure to like give any gifts like there is in
Mhm.
other holidays. So I'm a big 4th of July guy. I think it's a great holiday.
Just a pure celebration type of vibe. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys do that for Canada Day? Is it like the same thing?
Yeah, it's the same. Like living in the capital, I know it's a bit bigger than like other people's places. Like I sometimes go to the parliament and celebrate. There's like parades and stuff you can go to, and going down there, like, and definitely fireworks. But I don't think it's as big as the 4th of July.
Oh,
Just like hearing um, Americans on my team saying like their celebrations, it's like, whoa, like I wish ours was like that.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like there should be some more like celebrations for Canada. I think that it's. I was watching a Red Sox Blue Jays game a few years ago, and it was on Canada Day. It seemed pretty cool. Like everyone was like wearing red
Yeah.
and stuff. So I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I always felt like it seems big, like on TV, at least to me.
Yeah. No, in the past it was definitely big, but lately there's been some like controversies and stuff over some other stuff, so they've
Yeah.
kind of like slowed down Canada Day.
Well, I hope you still enjoy it for this upcoming year,
I,
especially. So I'll be wishing you a happy Canada Day when that comes up. I'll let you know.
I'll say happy 4th of July.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So then next non-hockey question is, what is your most embarrassing moment?
Most embarrassing moment. Like on
Hockey
hockey?
related or non-hockey related, whatever works for you.
Hmm. Oh, I don't know about non-hockey, but um in hockey when I was younger, for some reason I went on ESPN when I was super young, and I was that person that was like, "You're watching Hockey Night in Canada," and they played it for like a solid 2 or 3 months, and it was at the start of like every Hockey Night in Canada, and I just saw it, and I was just so embarrassed. I don't know why, but that definitely stuck with me.
Is that clip still on YouTube by any chance?
I'm not answering that question.
I guess some people have to do their own research on that one, I guess. So, have your teammates seen that though? I feel like some of them have had to discover it.
Nope, definitely not.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. That's definitely tough because everyone saw that because Hockey Night in Canada is huge. So for me, it was I don't know if you guys did this drill in youth hockey, but for me, like we did this drill where we would skate from the red line to the blue line, skate backwards on the blue line, and then skate back up to the red line. I'm pretty sure it was like a youth hockey drill to help you skate backwards, but someone forgot to close the bench door. So when I was skating backwards, I was skating so hard, trying to impress the coaches. I fell inside the bench and it was very embarrassing. But luckily, there was no cameras. No one can find that moment, so I can just laugh about it to myself. But at the time, I was very embarrassed with myself. So that was definitely the most embarrassing moment for me.
Mm-hmm. Ah, that's funny.
So, and then I guess last non-hockey question is, what is your thoughts? Or I guess like if there's any TV show you can guest star in, which TV show would that be?
Being starring. Probably like Gossip Girl.
Nice.
Yeah,
What
probably.
character would you like play? I guess.
Mm, I don't. Blair or Serena, one of them.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know too much about the show except for the guy from like You is in it. I thought that was interesting. So.
Yeah, I think Suits could be cool too, just being like a boss
Mhm.
lawyer. One of those two.
For me, probably like I don't know, Parks and Rec or some like random
Oh,
comedy show. Like I don't know, just to be like some dopey character and make people laugh. That would be pretty funny for me. So that's what I would pick.
that's a good one.
Now back to some hockey questions. Now, first one is, what were your thoughts on Cameron Wong and Tia Chan going to the Olympics, and how excited were you to see them play in that event?
Oh, I love them. I was so excited, watched all their games, and I loved following along their journey on like social media and stuff. And I can't wait for them to come back and bring what they learned to our team this year. So I'm so happy for them. And I think that having some Olympians in our program going there was just awesome. And they really represented us really well. So yeah,
That's
I'm super
awesome.
excited for them to come back. Like they can come back any day now.
Have they came back to stores yet, or are they still like back in Canada?
Yeah, so Tia was here for around 2 weeks, just watching our last couple games and stuff like that, hanging out with us. But Cam is not. Cam was in Hawaii and going around. So she said she's coming back maybe this month. So we'll see if she comes.
She's definitely gonna have to make a surprise visit, in my opinion. I feel like that would be a good way to, come back from the Olympics.
Yeah.
So
No, she has. too. I hope she just like shows up and is like, hey guys.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I can't wait to see both of them back for next year. I think they're going to be big players for the team next year. Very key players. So it's going to be fun to watch. Especially UConn might have the best goaltending next year in Hockey East with Megan and Tia coming in. So that should be fun.
Deadly duo right there.
Oh, it's gonna be great. Like, no, if one needs to rest, you can just throw the other one in. It'll be Hockey's teams will be very, very upset because they don't know how to figure that out. So I'll be that's something I'm looking forward to as a UConn hockey fan.
Yeah, for sure. Me too.
Now, what are your thoughts on the podcast since we last had you on?
Yeah, I think it's going really well. I love following along, and I think you're doing everything right. Yeah, it's really
Awesome.
nice.
I appreciate it. Have you had the chance to listen to your interview? I know some people don't like to because they hate hearing their voice. I was curious if you had the chance to listen to it by any chance.
Yes, I did. I listened to it right after, but yeah, listening to your voice after is definitely something you have to get used to. But yeah, it was fun.
That's awesome. And is there any guests that we should have on in the future? I feel like we've had a few Nepean Wildcats on before. Obviously, I have a lot of UConn women's hockey players, but anyone that I might have not had on before that you think would be fun to talk to for me?
So my best friend back home is on Colgate. Her name's Kaylee Osborne.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you should get her on. She's a fun one.
Yeah, good goalie too. So
Yeah, no, yeah, we've definitely. I told her. I was like, yeah, you got to come on. I told her so.
awesome. Well, I definitely got to reach out at some point then, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll definitely, I'll definitely have to ask her about you, just because, like, how did you guys become friends? Did you grow up in the same town or play in the same like junior team?
Yeah, so we grew up in the same town, went to the same high school, and we played on the same junior team for a year or two. And we just got really close, and she's at my house every day, and every time I'm home, I see her every single day, work out together. She's my goalie on ice training, so yeah.
How cool would it be if UConn played Colgate at some point in the next like 2-3 years? Would that be weird or exciting for you both?
No, that'd be awesome. I think it would be so fun just to go to like one of our schools and have each other there. So yeah, I'm hoping
Yeah,
to have her out here in a couple weeks. So we'll see.
I will say that'll be a good matchup for the first game for the new rink. I don't know who creates that, but a good non-conference battle. Just throwing that out there, not saying anything other than that, just throwing that out there. So
I'm going to send that tip straight to Coach Kathryn.
so is there anything else you want to talk about? The floor is all yours. Any shout outs you want to give? Anything else you want to talk about? I'll give you a whole minute if you want me to. You can talk about whatever you want. So
I don't know. I think I'm not good on the spot. I'm just kidding. I don't know what to throw out there. Do you have any? Have you been watching March Madness lately? Do you have any
So
winners?
once UConn got eliminated, I kind of stopped watching that, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah.
But I've been watching a lot of the men's hockey regionals. That was on last weekend, so that was super fun. And I'm planning up to go to Boston for the Frozen Four in a couple of days, so that should be really exciting. I'm very much looking forward to that. It should be fun, especially to see Michigan because they have all those NHL prospects.
Oh yeah, that'll be really fun.
So
Yeah. So I don't know if I have anything else.
no, I just was curious since we last time we usually first time I have someone on, I have them do shout outs, but I'm assuming you said all your shouts in the first episode. Unless there was someone you might have missed, you can shout them out now, I guess.
Maybe my brother. I'm not sure.
Awesome. Well, I'll give you a shout out, Kathryn. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Once again, I really I admire you a lot as a player. As you know, I think you're one of the most underrated players in college hockey. Honestly, I'll say that truthfully. I really admire your game a lot. But you're an amazing person, super kind, super awesome. So thank you so much for being so kind to myself. Thank you so much for what you've done for UConn so far, and just thank you for just being you. You're a great person, Kathryn, great hockey player, and I really appreciate you coming on. So definitely, since the new rink's coming out, hopefully they have some jerseys. Maybe I should get a copy of Kathryn Stockdale jersey. I think that'll be pretty fun for myself. So
Please. Well, thank you so much for having me. I had a blast, and you're doing a really great job.
I appreciate that. It means a lot to myself. Now,